Hello, you world of YouTube, IG, of short stories, poems, and lyrics. I would like to go over some stuff that I was not able to bring out in my last video. Stuff that I wanted to say, but of course I got disturbed throughout my video takings, and I didn't want to stay out there too long for more to come along, but I think I got out what I wanted to say on that part of the first point of interest in the story. Other than that, there's things that I want to go over, and new things and details, that I thought of after reading the newspaper article. And like I said, everything I come up with, these thoughts and these theories, all are irrelevant with the newspaper article only. I do not know nothing of anything more of this story rather than the newspaper article itself that I read 1 year ago. Like I said, I've had a brief encounter with Taj when I was a kid, running in the neighborhoods in the streets at them times. And I'll keep saying it. It's just freaky how this came about, and every point of interest I'm bringing you to afterwards, is got to do with either a dream I had or some, bypass through the dead somehow. I don't care what anybody says. I've had visions, I've had dreams, and I've had things happen to me in the past 3 years. And I think I've opened up some door. I'm not a psychic, like I say, but just the stuff that has been happening lately, it'll all roll out in the end of everything, and I'm sure you'll understand it more. But that's why I want to do this documentary. Not only I want to find a kid that's been missing for 31 years, I also want to prove that, that the dead comes back to you somehow, some way, some form and shape. And if you got a gift or a talent or something, it looks for you, I think, for help. And that's why I'm here today. I'm going through some serious personal problems right now. I've lost my work truck. I've been struggling to keep up money for things, bills, everything, kids, food. But I'm determined to get this documentary done. Only because, if Taj was alive today, he probably would be a friend of mine. And, just like if I would have helped him back then, he probably would have helped me now. And, hey, we'd all level out. I got friends help me in ways, too, now. Due to me, loss of work truck, loss of things. So, it stinks, not to have a friend like that around. And I know Taj, man, I can honestly be safe to say that he was just a kid of a normal nature. No worse, no less. But to get on and move on to the things I want to say, because I got interrupted that day, and I didn't want to get interrupted anymore and have to start over 2-3 times. I think I got out mostly what I wanted to do on my first point of interest, which is I'm proud of it, great. And now I want to go over some things that I think, if Taj did run away, I think I have 3 theories of why he does not come out to the public right now. And like I said before, everything of my thoughts and theories is only based, and I gotta keep saying it, on the newspaper article alone. This is stuff that I have came up through my mind to bring to you, so you won't have to, wouldn't have to go search yourself or whatever if you had to, and that brings me to another thing. If you get interested in this case or any case like this, at least some of it's there. Some of it you can think of, right? But I'd like to mention something before I move on. The people in Maple Street, in that housing unit, I highly recommend that you do not bother the people there. I was told not to bother them. I asked some questions, and they seem to be very agitated. They know of the Taj story because, of course, they live there. There must be other things out there on the internet. I don't know. I haven't checked. I don't want to check. I'm going on base of theory of a newspaper article. But yeah, they don't want to be bothered, and that's why I'm doing this, so I can bring you there. I mean, if you want to do your own studying, drive-bys, yeah, please do it in respect to them, and don't go there to stop and ask any questions, because they can't answer nothing. They know nothing. They only know of the story. They can't bring you more info. That's why I'm doing this documentary, because it's 31 years later. There's nothing on YouTube like this. I'm sure there's other things out there, but I'm bringing you to places where I believe Taj is, and I'm bringing you to the, how can you say it, the main attraction. But anyways, yeah, 3 theories. And the first theory of me thinking of why Taj did not come to the public eye. My first theory is that he probably thinks that he will get in trouble with the law. You know these people with fake deaths and stuff like that. Maybe in some strange way he believes that if he comes forth, he'll get in trouble. Some way, somehow, I don't know. To me, if he was to get in trouble, it would be an absolute disgrace. I think that'd be the worst, harsh thing you could ever do to a person that wanted to be free from an abusive, family matter. And take it from me, I'm well known for family matters of abuse, physical, mental. I've been through it all. Back in that day of me and Taj, you didn't have DCF, you didn't have DSS, you didn't have no social services, no communities and this and that helping you. You didn't have these wide open, you had psychiatrists, but you didn't have the wide open span that we have now of parents to get help. The only thing you had back in me and Taj's day was a good old can of ass whooping of a belt, stick, yardstick, a switch, whatever the parent would grab, pan, doesn't matter, coat hanger. We got our asses tanned back in the late 70s, early 80s, and way before even us, It goes on. You go on to family abuse, it goes on. I've heard some stories growing up from my family coming out now from other people that my brothers or whatnot told people, and it's just crazy. But that's why I relate so much with Taj Narbonne, because me and him come from the same background. I gotta keep saying that. And you just don't want to come forth thinking the police, right, would get him. The second theory would be he don't want to deal with interviews or maybe talk shows. If a new person gets found these days, they're all battered by the media. They want to know the brutal questions. They want to know the brutalness of what happened. And I watched one where a girl came out of 15 years missing. She was 11 years old, 12 years old, taken by this man in California, brought in the backyard, and raped repeatedly, and had babies, and it's, oh my. And just to, go through the details, yes, I feel truly sorry for the person, and that's why I say, kids these days, I've said it a long time ago, and I said it in my last video, because to me nowadays you need to be evaluated. Clarence Dean was not evaluated. Of course Taj's mother was not evaluated, and to do what they did to him with the White King stuff and and I know for a fact that, don't say it in the newspaper, but I know Taj got beat. I know he got beat. You don't get terrified of a man and not get beat, alright? Because there was times, right, I was a kid, I was a fighter, but you know what, there was times where I was scared shitless in my bed, because who knows what drunk was going to come in your room and take you and smack you around. You don't know these things. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know. And yeah, I'll admit it, I might have been a fighter, a survivor, but walking the streets, fighting full fist with adults when I was younger. But You know, to come from that background, man, you got a lot of eyes in your back of your heads, and it's crazy. You got 20 heads, and you're looking 20 million ways with 20 million eyes, all right? And Taj, I don't believe he had that sense. And I mean, I know if I was to hang around with him more back then, I think he would have been a runner like me. He would have followed my lead. Maybe he would have been alive today, you know. But yeah, he's probably just comfortable where he is and don't want to come out with the media, the interviews, and don't want to be remembering, you know, he probably still has nightmares or whatever. But he's probably in a comfortable place where it's all just left behind and let bygones be bygones, you know. The third theory that I can come up with, and I'm sure some people will come up with more, some people could have more thoughts, their own theories, but these are mine. These are based on a newspaper article, once again. And my third theory, doing this because, right, the newspaper article leaves you with many, 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 many questions of what could have happened with no answers. You don't get an answer. And yeah, Annette that night, you know, trusted Clarence Dean to go talk to Taj because there was that Clarence Dean thing again. Like I said before, with his smooth talking, brainwashing, womanizing, manipulator, whatever he had to throw out there to put out there towards Annette and the grandparents, to say in the paper article, like it said, that he was going to make amends with Taj. Alright? And he must have been making it look good back then, I can tell you that. To make and that's where it comes in of why Taj don't want to come back. And it's got to do with one word, trust. He lost trust within his grandparents, and he lost trust within his mother. Now, once again, I'm not trying to slander, I'm not trying to point fingers, but if you think about it, and if Clarence Dean smooth talked his way to the grandparents and Annette the mother, when they trusted him to send him home that day, Annette trusted Clarence to go talk to him that night to assure him that there was no fighting, you know, then he smooth talked his way to, you know, that he was going to make it better. He was going to make it work. That means he's going to stop picking on him, he's going to stop beating him, he's going to, whatever he could do to change it. But it also leads to, that makes me believe more that if you pull something like that, you're a stupid idiot, you're a retard. Rephrase retard to someone who knows better, but does it anyways, alright? Does bad anyways. That's the new meaning to retard to me. Retard ain't a mentally handicapped person. They're smarter than a retard. I've seen mentally handicapped people work, alright? Clarence Dean knew what he was doing, but was going to do the bad anyways. To me, that's what a retard is. Then he gets caught up in the end. And that's where Taj lost trust. Because they put their trust back into Clarence Dean and made Taj go home and made Taj stay where he didn't want to stay. And the loss of trust to his mother, you ask, would be just like the newspaper said, the article. And that said, she was going to have the baby and she was going to leave. How many times do you think Annette told Taj, alright, we're going to get out of here. We're going to leave. We're going to leave this place. We are going to get out of here and we are going to go so far, Clarence ain't going to find us. How many times do you think Taj heard that? You know, if he ran away, then that's what I think happened. He got fed up. He was sent home. His mother didn't leave yet. Who's going to leave? Taj is going to leave. Why should he sit in that abusive thing? I've tried running away when I was a kid. When I was 6 years old, when I was 8 years old, 9 years old. I've tried to run away 6 times, but I got caught. Because I was walking. I was walking. And you know, that's just the thing. I can't see him being sick and trying to walk away from that house. And I told you in the last video that, right, I did a weather report with the Farmer's Almanac. They said it was drizzle rain them 2 days. Now, if Taj had somewhere to go, I could see him running all day. But I know when I tried running away personally, I packed my bag, well, all my clothes, one favorite toy, and I was out. But yeah, I got caught by the cops. I got caught by the people that my mother was staying with. You know, it all backfired on me. I didn't get far. I made it 2-3 miles down the road. They were in a car driving after me. Boom, I was done. But the first time when I was 6, a cop literally, air cop from Air Mass, literally pulled up alongside of me and asked me what I was doing. And I told him, I'm not going back in that house at 6 years old. I'm leaving. I'm out of here. He brought me back in the house, thought it was a joke. You know, I've endured so much, you know, beatings and mental abuse, Taj. Same thing. And I don't know, like I said, doing the newspaper, I don't know what happened to Taj's father. There's a question there. Where was his father when all this was going on? I don't know. I have to look more into that. If I can't get the answers, you know, that's why I say there's so many twists and demented turns in the story that you're in a maze. And not only a maze, you're in Clarence Dean's maze. And he's the one who brought everybody to this twisted thought turns. And I tell you, it just gets like I'll go over and over it because I got to get this done, and I just keep coming up with things and thoughts, and that's what I say in my next video, part 5. We're going to be taking a little journey down not only Route 31, but a back road that leads directly from Naples Street all the way through on to 140, 131 to Route 31, where Clarence Dean allegedly tried to stab Annette. Now, not only did Annette say that she was going to leave and get out of this relationship, but as soon as Taj was missing, it took her 3 more months. 3 more months. Why would she stay 3 more months with the guy? There you go. He must have manipulated her again. He must have brainwashed her again and told her, you know, we're going to find him. But the heat got too hot on him. Yeah, the cops do say they pointed fingers towards him because he was a jealous man. And jealous men, you know, jealousy, I can tell you, runs long time. I was watching my mother done stuff when I was a kid. And I'm sure Taj's mother and father, whatever, and Clarence, all being jealous. I've seen it. I grew up with it. Jealousies. And that's a nasty thing to mix with love. Jealousy, love. That's why today kids need to be evaluated. Because once a kid comes along and they can't have that time, you know, before you get in the bed, you know, check your head. All right? That's all I got to say. Because once that baby comes along, you want to hop in that bed, ain't no time for that, man. You're going to be up in the middle of the night, you're going to be getting in the mood, and it's going to be all over. Clarence Dean, I think, was jealous because he had another kid coming on the way. Allegedly, the two kids in the article, plus Taj, you know, he must have been jealous because of the simple fact, right, he had 2 kids of his own. And he didn't want Taj corrupting his kids in his own sick way. That's the only thing I can think of. To eliminate a problem, you got to get rid of a problem, right? And that's his problem. He wanted Annette. He wanted his 2 kids. But who was in the way? The mother-born son that Taj and Annette had. That said it in the article. And where would you know, where would Clarence and his kids be between this mother-born? It just, you know, it gets, in order to think like this, you know, they say, I believe I can safe to say, they say when you become a detective, you gotta think like a criminal. You gotta think like a killer. If you want to catch a killer, you gotta think like one. You gotta play their mind games. And you know, Clarence Dean, obviously played a good enough mind game to get out of what he done. That's why, personally, I wish I could go a documentary on him. I'd love to do an interview. I'd love to go meet the man. Because I could think just like him. I could say things, I can do things, I can make my face contacts the way I do. I tell you, it's just so many tunnels in this maze. You're in, you, me, are not getting out until Taj is found. That's why I say in the end of this, all I hope for is Detective Arbachon gets the help he needs to search the woods, not only his set of woods, but where I think Taj is. And I'm not saying, like I said, I'm not saying Detective Arbachon is wrong, and I'm going to bring you to all kinds of points and places, and they're going to be where, we don't want to be, because there'll be the biggest, chunk of change that it would take to search, but hopefully he's in one of these two sets of woods that I'm going to bring you. Now, the first set we've already covered, first point of interest, Christine Street. The next set, this next segment of my story ain't gonna be where I think he is yet. We're gonna get to that later. I gotta bring you through the story and every point of interest that they mention in the newspaper first, and then we'll move to my point. That will be the ending. But I'm also gonna bring you to a place where I had a ghost encounter at a motel, Leominster Motor Inn. And just to give you a little brief on that, that place is diagonal, like it would be parallel, straight towards the set of woods that I believe Taj is in. That's going to be another point. I'm going to bring you around the block, I can say. From where it starts to the motel, all the way around the streets that lead around this set of woods. Everything around it is a cul-de-sac or a business. It does not have streets that go through it because you have the woods there. And that is where I believe Taj is myself. That's where my experience came from in 2011 when I opened up this paper. But 2010, I wasn't aware of the story yet, and the ghost encounter happened at that motel I was staying at, and I'll tell you, I'll keep telling you, it's still freaking me out how it's all parallel to this story. It's getting, it just spooks me out. But yeah, I hadn't given you my 3 thoughts of theories of why Taj does not want to come out to the public eye. That's if he is alive. I mean, I'm sure you can come up with more. But like I said, I'm going to bring you on a little journey to our next destination of Route 31. And like I said, that place once was covered with Indians. And why stuff that I'm going to bring forth to you on info has happened there is beyond me. Why people go there? Yeah, it's a deserted area. It's very secluded. There's no street lights. You'll see. And I'm just hoping, that this ain't the place or any of it. What I'm going to bring you is where Dean would have dumped Taj's body off. Like I said, he pre-dug a hole in my mind. He pre-dug a hole and he brought him there. But this next journey, I'm hoping it ain't through where I think. It's just showing you where, though, Annette claims that she got almost stabbed to death. And until then, we'll move on to the next video, and I got everything out. Like I said, this is stuff I couldn't bring out in the last video, because you gotta go over this stuff, and I would have got interrupted there, but it's rolling out in my favor, and I thank you for your time. We'll see you on the next video of the little journey through in the back roads of Route 131. Thank you, YouTube, and we will see you there.